What is up, YouTube? It is Mr. Rolldaddy here, and today it is that time of week again. Iowa football scouting analysis. Got the tie on, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to be breaking down my preview for this Iowa Hawkeyes upcoming game against the Illinois Fighting Illini. Now, again, before we get started, as I always say, all views that are expressed in this video are completely of my own. They do not represent any media outlet, the University of Iowa, any coach, any player, the Big Ten Conference, any university official, or anyone else or anything else otherwise affiliated with the University of Iowa. I am a just for fun sports analyst, and I graduated from the University of Iowa just doing a fun side project that's based off of the school I love and the degree I got in sport and recreation management. So let's get going. All right, here we go. It's crazy how time flies, because after this week's game, Iowa will be halfway through their season. So let's get going here. Now, this is my basic roll key for this week. Honestly, by all means, should absolutely be a trophy game. I mean, they're both big-time Chicago schools. A lot of students and a lot of athletes are from Chicago, and as well as the surrounding suburbs. Both schools start with an I, and they have a block I. They're really not too far from each other at all. So Iowa versus Illinois should absolutely be a trophy game, by all means. Now, getting on to the offense. So here's my first offensive roll key of the week. From what I was seeing last week against Wisconsin when I was watching those game highlights, Illinois runs a 3-3-5 defense. Now, they did use this formation to some success, of course, as they really slowed down Wisconsin, and obviously they came out on top. And now, I do believe this defensive scheme really does have some good advantages to it, because the outside linebackers, they must have both power and speed, because in this formation, what sometimes happens, or I should say often happens, the linebackers line up next to the defensive ends, and they can either rush the passer like they'll make you think they are, or they may go drop back in coverage. And that requires a lot of talent to have both the power and the speed to do in that defensive scheme. And a big thing is, a rival high school of mine ran a 3-3-5 defense, and I know sometimes in that scheme, the outside linebackers really do try to get you to think that they're going to rush the passer, but they'll really drop back into pass coverage instead and really cause havoc in the protections. Now, here is my second roll key of this week. Backside guard pull runs. It's really a big thing. Because when I was playing football in high school, I was on the offensive line, and I remember when we played against that rival school that ran a 3-3-5, there was one particular running play that we found some success on, and it was a backside guard pull run, and where it was shotgun formation. The backside guard skipped to the play side, and then running back lined up on the backside just follows the pulling backside guard. And against that 3-3-5 defense back in that day, we got a 60-yard touchdown run based off of that one running play. And so if Iowa wants to pull off some big runs against the 3-3-5, they should absolutely do a backside guard pull run. It'll work to some great success. And even when we didn't score, I mean, most of those plays we didn't score, but we still picked up some nice yardage those plays against that team. Now, another big thing, the down linemen they have are pretty solid. I mean, all those guys, watch their alignment, just block them well. They are solid players on the defensive line, so really be prepared for anything that they are going to try to do. Now, next big thing, Iowa's got to be making the sure completions. Last week, it was just there were a few occasions when I saw that passes just oversailed the receiver's head where it was not catchable, and there was just wide open room to catch, or in other cases, it was just too wide for the receivers to reach out to catch it. And So Iowa cannot be missing the passes on the short completions this week. That cannot be happening. Another big thing I will stress, Iowa, they must strike early and they must strike often. I mean, Iowa did get 14 points against Michigan last week, but it was just too little, too late. Michigan already had the game all controlled by the time Iowa got those touchdowns. So Iowa just can't be waiting until later in the game to score. Offense needs to be there striking early and often. Score early. And, I mean, this one was really going to be needed this week. All right. I am on to the defensive side of the ball now. So, I know I've been saying this the past couple of weeks, but I'm going to have to say it again. My first defensive role key is for Iowa to keep up the success. I mean, first 5 games, only 50 points allowed. That's only 10 points per game allowed, and it's very amazing. And again, it's all about wanting to be a historically dominant defensive unit. It's what Iowa has to want to do. They've got to show that they want to be that historically dominant unit week in and week out. So just keep up that success there. Now, this one, I mean, this is my biggest defensive role key of my 5 I have got this week. So, Tommy DeVito, he's the most challenging quarterback Iowa's got to face yet. So, I get it. Some people may differ, but still, he's got a great arm. He's got experience. He played at Syracuse for a while, and the man from the 1-yard line scored 3 quarterback sneak touchdowns, and even on like other types of running plays or dropbacks, he's got some good mobility skills as well. So he's really going to be a challenge for Iowa. Now, another big-time star, Chase Brown, Illinois star running back. So he had some great runs against Wisconsin last weekend. I mean, I was watching those highlights. He just went off, and his numbers are quite good. I don't think he's a one-game fluke. I think he's really solid, and from what I was seeing on those highlights, he just took a pretty good Wisconsin defense and got himself into the open field. He bounced out, really just got all those good runs, and he really just performed well there. So to play him well, just have the linebackers and safeties lined up appropriately. Have a few on each side ready to take him down if he gets into the open space. Now, a big thing. There are other running backs, like, if he's not playing, like, the other running backs, they're able to make some moves. And, I mean, Reggie Love, he's got some experience, and he knows how to play some defenses, and Chase Hayne, I'm hearing good things about him, and if Josh McCray, if he's healthy to go this weekend, he's a pretty solid option for the Illini, because he had a really great true freshman season, and if he's not injured, he is a good threat on that offense as well. So don't take it down off just because they may not have Brown in at running back for a snap. Now, my final defensive role key of this week. Speed and coverage is key for this week. It must, and I mean must be there. So this needs to be done in order to play Tommy DeVito's deep passes, and they got to stop the speed of Brown and any other running back. Don't allow those receivers to get separation, and big thing, just make Illinois' offensive linemen miss on those pass blocking snaps. And this might be crucial to winning the game and maybe scoring more on defense. I cannot stress this one enough this weekend. So for the Iowa defense to still do its job and continue their dominance and win this game, the speed and the coverage has to be there. Now, next factor role key. Illinois hasn't beat Iowa since 2008. It's been a while, quite a long time. And it's been a very one-sided rivalry since Big Ten realignment. Iowa's won all 8 of those games since 2014. And, I mean, hypothetically, Iowa should beat these guys. But, again, the big thing is, even though Iowa really wants to extend the drought? Well, Illinois, they've got a mindset of wanting to end the drought. And given that one team wants to extend a big winning streak and one team wants to end it, that's going to be a big factor for this weekend's game. Now, it's that time of the week again. Rolldaddy's big roll of the week. This is either a surprise tactic, trick play, or an interesting strategy that I would utilize this week if I was an Iowa coach that could catch the opponent off guard and give an advantage to the Hawkeyes. This week, go for those touchdowns whenever in the red zone, no matter what distance it is on fourth down. If I was in the red zone, they've got to get the touchdowns. I don't think field goals are going to do the job this weekend. And if you're asking me, it's going to be touchdowns or bust, so go for the 6 points whenever you are in the red zone. I think Iowa needs to do that this weekend in order to come out on top. Thank you all for watching this week's episode. I'm hoping this is another successful Iowa win against Illinois, and we'll see come Saturday night how this all turns out. I think this is going to be a very interesting game to watch, and there's just so much about this game. Both teams are playing for so much, and it's going to be quite a back-and-forth battle. If you're asking me, I think this is going to be a really, really close game. Though I do think Iowa will come out on top in the end, but this is going to be quite a close game. So, can't wait for Saturday night. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.